We are standing at extremely intense and pressurized times. Lotus Dawn here with Blossom with the Stars, true to the stars sidereal astrology. And the energy of the planetary bodies right now is off the chain. And so I had to get on here to bring you the most up-to-date information about what is currently happening with the government, with our families, with this intensity of energy you may be feeling. So, what's happening? We have two planets engaged in this tense, what's called opposition or polarity, which creates huge amounts of pressure because they represent diametrically opposite energies. We have the planet Pluto, which is the planet of transformation, the planet of intensity, the planet of rebirth, being reborn, being initiated into this new life. We have it in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign of government. And it is literally in the same sign that it was at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And interestingly enough, went into this sign 1 year ago today, or tomorrow, on the 4th of July. And so what does that mean? What does that represent? Pluto is the sign of depth. It's the sign of intensity. For those of you who are familiar with Scorpio energy, Pluto is the planet that rules it. In Greek mythology, Pluto is known as the god of the underworld. And so Pluto relates to anything and everything that has been kept secret, hidden, lied about, suppressed, under wraps, that we are not aware of. And Pluto's job is to expose and to bring to light, bring to surface that which has been hidden. An amazing visual or symbol for Pluto energy is that of a volcano erupting with the force of all the things that have been kept secret, hidden, or lied about. And Pluto, that planet of transformation, is in the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn, of course, being the sign of structure, stability, government, the ability to manifest and create in the material plane. And so Capricorn energy is about solidity, it's about structure, it's about discipline. Pluto is about explosive transformation. And wouldn't you know, living here in California, luckily we live far enough away, but LA has been home to massive protests and so much exploding out of the people energetically, people reacting to the government, right? And so what's really interesting is that Pluto goes into a sign for a very long time, and it's only been there for 1 year. For those of you who are wondering what's going to happen with the government, with our society, with our communities and our culture, I want to give you this heads up that Pluto is going to be in Capricorn for the next 13 years. What does that mean? It means that societally, our communities, our government, our structure is going through a major overhaul. Okay, and so anything that is not built on the truth, on purity, on divine alignment is going to transform. It is going to be destroyed. It is going to be transmuted and transformed. It is going to evolve and be reborn and be rebirthed again anew. And so for those of you wondering what's happening, light some sage. Light some sage, because we are going through a collective transformation, not only of our government, that's kind of the more visual on the big movie screen, but individually we're being asked to transform at a very deep level. What does Capricorn energy represent? It represents the bedrock. It represents the foundation that we build upon. and it represents our mastery in achieving our chief aims and outcomes. When Pluto goes into the sign of Capricorn, we're being asked to transform our relationship to mastery, to discipline, to structure, and to success. And things that have been lies, things that have been untruths that we have grown up with or taken on or kind of got filed away into the cabinets of our unconscious are going to be coming up to the surface to be revealed, to be seen, to be transmuted and transformed. And so, talk about powerful energy, right? And here we are just working on living our mundane lives, going to work, talking to our friends, talking to our family, growing our careers, growing our businesses. And so, this is rather intense energy. So, how do we handle it? One thing is to learn how to surrender and trust. To trust in this concept that everything is always working out for us. And if it's not happening for me, it might not be the right thing for me. And to trust that any big, major transformations you're having are happening for your highest good, whether that's in home or family or career. You know, as an astrologer, it really takes looking at your individual astrological chart to really reveal where these aspects are happening. And so I've been doing the most incredible workshops and readings for my clients. I just had this incredible success where I actually was able to predict down to the day when my client would manifest her love interest. And sure enough, she did. She sent me a picture of meeting him. It wasn't even on her radar screen at all. And I actually did a reading for them both. And so it's so powerful and so amazing, the accuracy of the astrological system I use. And so if you're going, Lotus, what does this Pluto and Capricorn energy mean for me? Please reach out. Please schedule a session. I love working with you all. It is amazing to give you and interpret the information of the stars specifically for you, specifically for your life and for your question. It's always spot on, 100%. Amazing stuff. And so very excited to share that with you. But let me dive deeper into this whole Pluto Capricorn energy. So for each of us, it might be aspecting a certain area of our life. For instance, if it's in the first house, it will be affecting your sense of identity. So that could mean having major transformation around how you structure what you look like, what you wear, how you act, how you are perceived. If it's in your second house of money, it might affect your structure, your discipline, your relationship to wealth and to finances. If it's in your third house, it could relate to communication. It could relate to your ability to share your work with the world. And maybe you're going through a major transformation. Maybe you're changing the success teachers that you're listening to. Another thing it can mean is that the people that we follow, that we listen to, the gurus, the teachers, the guides, the businesses, people in authority, Pluto here means that the next 13 years could be full of surprising truth reveals of information. We're like, oh my God, I never would have thought that about this person. Pluto goes deep, and so this can relate to all kinds of very deep, intense things being brought up to the light. Now, another thing I want to touch on here is that Pluto is not only retrograde in Capricorn, Pluto is directly opposite Mercury. Mercury is the planet of communication. Mercury is the planet of how we express ourselves. And it's actually in the opposite sign of Pluto in Capricorn, which is structure, the transformation of structure. It is in the sign of Cancer, which is the sign of the home, the family, the mom, the emotions. Okay, and that can mean that deeply rooted stuff in us around the family and the mom could be coming up. It means that ancestral patterns could be coming up. It could mean Cancer can also represent the homeland, the great collective family. And opposite Pluto and Capricorn is the government. And here we have all of these protests and the people and the feminine coming up against the authority and power. And so Capricorn can actually represent the father And Cancer can represent the mother, and they're opposite. And so there could be a very intense battle almost between the masculine and the feminine, between the nurturing, nourishing principle and the structure, stabilizing, disciplining energy. And it could feel like a tension. How do we find balance? How do we find peace? How do we bring the two sides of this equation into balance? It's really important right now to think about what are the needs of the father. Well, he wants to protect. He wants there to be structure. He wants to maintain law and order. He wants to make sure the family is safe. He wants to be unyielding because he wants to create support. Then you have the feminine, the mother. She wants to be nurturing and nourishing. She wants people to be loved and taken care of. And so how can we find a balance between those two polarities right now, between the masculine, that strong, earthy, stabilizing energy, and the yin, the feminine, the nurturing, nourishing waters? And we have this battle between the feminine energy wanting people to be loved and cared for and nurtured, and the masculine of, no, this is the law, this is the boundary. And so there's this huge pressurization between our boundary and wanting people to be loved and cared for and supported. And so how can we allow this seeming polarity, this seeming inability to communicate, this seeming inability to hold space for both sides? And how can we imagine and visualize and call in a healing for those two sides and ask God, the angels, this great land, to help to heal this? And perhaps as I'm tuning into this, what we're experiencing externally is truly an opportunity for all of us to heal our inner relationship between the masculine and the feminine, the father and the mother, where we find structure and discipline in our lives and where we find nurturing and love. And so if you're dealing with a battle somewhere in your life, whether it's in your work, your career, with a friend, with a family member, take a moment to acknowledge the beauty that lives within them. Take a moment to try and see from their point of view. Take a moment to recognize men are from a different planet, women are from a different planet. How can we see each other's point of view? How can we create inner peace within ourselves, within our friends, our home, and our family? So food for thought for you all. There's so much information coming to you from the stars. What's happening right now is profound. So many energetics I can't wait to talk to you about. So please like, follow, and subscribe. And I look forward to sharing more information with you all. Happy 4th of July. May we keep focusing on celebrating our truth, our freedom, our right to be free, and may that beautiful pride in our country return for all beings. Biggest love to you all. Aloha.